I wanted to talk a little bit about influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is when a company or an agency sends somebody that they consider an influencer a product or something to try out or whatever, with the hopes that that person will share it with the audience that that person has developed or whatever. In the case of me, the community that I serve, sometimes I will show you products that I've been sent. Sometimes I do it because it's funny. Sometimes I do it because I think you might actually like something. But that's just me. Let's talk a little bit about the experience with influencer marketing. When it's done well, I think influencer marketing is really cool. I actually much prefer it to plain old-fashioned advertising, because in advertising, let's say for instance we see some famous celebrity, we see Kendall Jenner handing out Pepsis. We don't go, oh, I bet she likes Pepsi. We say, oh, I bet she got paid a lot of money. When you see a turd head like me say, oh, this is really cool beard balm that the people from Beard Balm sent me, you know they didn't give me a few million bucks to do this. They just said, hey, look, beard balm. Right? So that's one step. Now the thing is that first in America, for instance, there are rules to this. The Federal Trade Commission has rules because there were people who were doing kind of not so great things with their influence. They were reviewing things for money and then giving the thing a very high review, even if they didn't actually like or care about the product, because they were worried that they weren't going to make more money from other people and other opportunities. I get it. Like, it makes sense to me. And yet I think that I'm glad that laws came out to make it not about that. So what makes for a good influencer marketing program? I'm gonna walk it through from both sides. One for you, the person maybe who's creating media, who's building relationships, and also for the company who's wanting to do this kind of a relationship. From the side of you who is building content and media and stuff like that, like a blogger, a podcaster, a video blogger, what you are going to always want to do is when you are approached by someone with something that might be something for your review or for trying out or something like that, you're gonna always ask yourself these questions. Number one, is this something I would normally possibly ever use? Number two, is it something that I feel like the people that I serve would be interested in? Number three, do I actually like the company that's dealing with this product, and do I know anything about them? Sometimes you don't know much about the company, but you can research it or whatever. Number four, how am I going to handle it? How am I going to disclose what's going on? How am I going to talk about it? Because it's really important that you bring up that you've been given this product for review or whatever. This is, again, you've got to look up, in the US anyway, the federal FTC, Federal Trade Commission guidelines for blogging and influence and that sort of thing. If I find it easily, I'll just link it in the show notes, but if not, there's this thing called Google that was created more than a decade ago, and you could use that too. So those are the starting points. So for instance, I've got a couple of things that have been around the house that I was given. One is Skinny & Company sent me a whole bunch of, I wonder if I can you see that okay? It doesn't look like it's focusing. Look at the skinny thing, not me. Okay, it's a bar of shampoo bar of their stuff. This is a rosemary scented shampoo bar. It's got coconut oil, it's all natural, very pure ingredients, etc. And when they sent me this and some facial oil, which I have really not used much, and coconut oil that you could put in your food, like, you know, bulletproof coffee and that sort of thing. This is me doing bulletproof coffee. And I liked the products a lot. I very, very much like this shampoo bar. I use this shampoo bar. This one's still in the package, but the one I also got was rubbing down to a nub now. I use it to shampoo my hair. The people at Beard Balm, I like this beard balm. I've never thought to put stuff in my beard, but I never had a beard long enough to do it, and so now, Beard Balm, I use it. So that's cool. And I think that what's fun about this is these are products that you might possibly also use. Now, does it relate at all to my channel? Well, who knows? My channel doesn't have a very specific theme, so kind of. It talks about life and entrepreneurship and all that sort of thing. Then there's other products where I haven't been given the product, I haven't been asked to review it, but I'd endorse the hell out of it. Yeti makes an amazing, I think they call this a tumbler, but they make amazing coffee mugs. And this thing, if you put hot coffee in this at the beginning of the day, it'll be hot at nighttime. You will not have to reheat your coffee. If you put something cold in this, you put a bunch of ice cubes and a nice delicious cold drink, it'll be cold all day. There will be cubes rattling at the end of the day. It is great. Yeti makes this. They did not send this to me. I love it. I can endorse it. I can tell you that I think what makes good endorsing and what makes good influence marketing work from the creator side is if you've done both. If you are the kind of person who endorses products that you were not sent, as well as products you were sent. If all you're doing is just reviewing products you were sent, it gets a little weird after a while. But if you are also seeking out products and services and things you want to try out, then that's cool because there's a mix. So my daughter pays attention to a girl whose YouTube channel is Simply Nailogical. And I think sometimes, V, is she sent stuff sometimes? Is Simply Nailogical, is she sent things to review sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she gets review stuff sometimes, and other times she goes shopping for stuff. So my daughter Vila, who's off camera, she doesn't want to be on camera right now, she said something really important about Simply Nailogical and why her reviews are good. Say it, loud though.
She reviews things with an extreme level of honesty, and if their product is stupid, she'll say it's stupid, and if their product is okay, she'll say it's okay. If she likes it, she'll say that she actually likes it, and how much she'll use it, if she would use it at all.
Mm-hmm. So do you trust her reviews because of that?
Yes.
Do you ever get the feeling that she's doing something just because someone gave it to her or she's making money?
No.
Okay, I think that's important, right?
Sometimes she does sponsorships, but she's very funny about it.
Yeah. And I think what's great about that is that you can have both experiences. I think that makes good on the side of the person being the influencer. By the way, never take that title too seriously. I never say, if you've ever listened to me, I never say my audience. I always say the community I have the pleasure to serve. And the reason is because it's not my audience. You are someone who's choosing to watch this because you felt like seeing what I had to talk about today. But that doesn't make you mine. That's a strange thing, and I think it's always weird. And never fans. I think, you know, I like to be a fan of people, but I never want to call the people who like and spend time with me my fan. You're people. You're people who are probably creating your own stuff too. So why am I going to think of you as a fan? I'm going to think of you as an ally in the same game. And sometimes, and this isn't really part of influencer marketing, but sometimes you just have friends who know you're into something. And so they might send you something that they know you might appreciate. And they don't really have any intention of you sharing it, but maybe you do. My friend Debbie Saviano works with Linda McMahon. And I don't know if you know who Linda is, but Linda and her husband Vince run WWE, also sometimes known as World Wrestling Entertainment. And so Debbie sends me things like a WrestleMania shirt. But that's not all. Hang on, let's set up, hang on. She sent me the Jetsons and Robo WrestleMania. I cannot wait to watch this. My son will get a kick out of that. This isn't a little too weird, but I got an autographed picture of Chris Jericho. I wish he had more clothes on. But you know, he's a wrestler, that's what they do. And another WrestleMania shirt. And wow, a WrestleMania shirt with all of the peoples on it. Now, here's the thing. I am appreciative of the art of wrestling because I'm friendly with Diamond Dallas Page, because I like Paul Levesque, also known as Triple H, who also helps run the WWE. Oh, and I got this thing, which is like a minifigure thing, known as Triple H. And I also appreciate the entertainment value of wrestling and also the athleticism of wrestling. And my children and I both really appreciate and love John Cena. And if you're not following any popular memes, there are memes about John Cena.
And his name is John Cena!
And it makes it kind of more fun, and he has his own little walk-on music that they play in these memes, and it makes the whole experience just a lot more fun and funny. So he's popular in our house. So again, nothing really to do with influencer marketing, but sometimes you just get sent fun stuff from people because they know you're going to appreciate it. And like I said, they don't have any real, like, they're not hoping, I can't wait for you to put it on the air. Debbie sent it to me because she's lovely. And look now. Oh, how come I can't? There he is. Look at me, I can wrestle. So I am like a crappy, do you see me now? I am a crappy wrestling fan because I don't really know any of the names. My friend Mike Vardy knows them all. But I really appreciate that Debbie sent that to me. So that's cool too. You don't have to be some fancy-pantsy influencer marketer because you're going after big company brands all the time. You could just like stuff and be excited to get it. And sometimes that's fun too. It's fun to see things, right? That's why we like unboxings and openings and that sort of thing. That's why we don't mind a product review if it's a product we're thinking about getting. If you are the creator and the influencer and you're hoping to work with brands, you can do some things to make that happen a little more likely. You can say, hey influencers, here's my package, here's my stats, here's my numbers, here's who subscribes to me. According to this statistical software that I used, I found that this many men, this many women, these countries. You can find that information and you can present actual information to the people who are thinking of sending you things. You can explain how to reach you. I would do this on a website. I wouldn't necessarily do it on your YouTube channel. I would link to it on a site. And if you don't have a site already built, just maybe throw up a page on something like Wix and just say, here's what I do, here's how I do it, here's the kind of people I speak to, here's how, some examples of my videos, I would love to work with you, here's how you contact me, etc. One reason you're not necessarily getting products sent to you is that no one knows how to reach you besides the comment section on YouTube. And maybe they don't want to do that publicly immediately because they want to feel you out and understand some things first. So make it easier to contact you. Not sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. All right, so that's from the influencer side. Let's talk a little bit about what companies have to do. In some ways, the beauty of influencer marketing is that it's a long game. You don't need to show immediate results. And a lot of times, this is kind of a lower end budget item for a marketing agency or a group. So for instance, if they're gonna send out a handful of products, if the products aren't all that expensive per se, then it becomes sort of a very affordable way to do some influencer marketing. I'll give you an example. This is the Blendtec Design 625. Blendtec makes really high-end blenders. They're the kind that you might see in very big restaurants and that sort of a thing, but there's also a home use one as well. This is the Design 625. Blendtec sent that to me, or the people at Blendtec sent that to me, a nice guy named Michael, years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And he said, hey, you know, I know that you're really into making smoothies and stuff like that. I know that you've been using other kinds of products. I wanted to send you one of these and see what you think about it. And like always, what happens is the influencer, the company that's reaching out to the influencer, they have some rules too on how they do what they do because it's caused problems in the past, the way they've designed their projects. So there are key words to use, for instance, to make sure that people understand that you're not forcing the review, that you're not pushing for very specific things to be said, etc. By the way, I've had all kinds of experiences with lots of different companies and lots of different products, and sometimes they've gone really well and sometimes the company's really made a bad bunch of choices. So for instance with Blendtec, they did a great job. They said, I know you make a lot of smoothies, they've done their research. I know that you're using other products, also they're looking to unseat them. They said, what we like about this is this, what we think you might find interesting is this, however, one of the things that we're promoting a lot is this. And if you feel interested in talking about that, you can. Here's some other materials if you want it. If not, no big deal. Go at it. And so I made a video and it was just me making up a smoothie. When I did the post about the thing, one of the things I pointed out was that this blender had a really good policy, like a return policy or whatever, or you know, if something breaks, they're gonna fix it kind of policy. And the reason I said it was because I was wondering if I still had it here for some dumb reason. I had one of those, I was gonna say a name, but I don't wanna say mean things. I had another company's blender and it broke and it didn't work really well after just a few months of using it. This blender costs way more than that other blender, but the thing is, I've now had this for multiple years. I had bought 4 previous blenders and broken them over the span of 1 year. By the time you counted it all up, it was about the same price as this expensive blender. And expensive is relative, you know, $500 or $600 is a lot for a blender, except that over a bunch of years and a bunch of meals and not having to replace products and how easy it is to clean and all that, this is a great price, right? So that was a great project. When you're a company working with influencers, you should do the research. You should know who the person is. It's not enough that they have some kind of a larger audience or something like that that they serve. It's much more important that you know that they're the kind of person who would likely or possibly use your kind of product, and that they're talking to people like them who would use that kind of product as well. Also, after you've done your research, you want to really craft what you hope the outcome is, not from what they create, but in general inside the organization. I've had products sent to me where the person didn't really know what they wanted. I'll give you an example for real. I had a car company and I wanted to help really promote these cars, and I love this brand. And they were like, no, we don't want you to really talk about it much. We just want you to use it, and we don't want you to actually reference it. We definitely don't want you to review the car. And I was like, well, why give me a car then? You know, it's no big deal, except that it's like set dressing. You know, like it looked like product placement in a movie. And so it wasn't a good project, and I've never worked with that company since. And it's too bad because I still am really in love with that brand. So you're gonna wanna understand what outcomes you're looking for. And then, I guess last, let's just give 3 to the company that's trying to send this stuff out. You're gonna wanna, like I said, target the right people via research. Don't just pick the big numbers. Pick the people that have really thriving, vibrant, back and forth conversation-based communities that they serve, so that you know that you're gonna have some kind of response to whatever the product or service is. I guess one last thing for companies. If your product stinks, it doesn't matter who you send it to. It's not gonna be a good experience. No one's gonna like it. So don't bother if it's not an especially great product. I have one last note for the creators, the people who are influencing. If you are going to do something with an influencer product, make it kind of fun. Do something interesting with the product. Maybe don't even use it exactly as it's supposed to be used. I'll give you an example of this that always makes me laugh. Someone sent me a paper shredder. They wanted me to do some kind of a thing with the paper shredder. And I thought, I don't use a lot of paper in my life. There's not a lot of paper even in my house. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So I had a big exercise ball. Oh, I still have it. So I had a big exercise ball. I put the shredder on top of the exercise ball and then plugged it in, and I took the instructions on how to use the shredder and I shredded those. And I bounced the shredder on the ball. So I said, this isn't probably how you should use a paper shredder, but I can tell you this, it worked great, everything worked fine. And by the way, that manual was pretty thick and it went through just fine. I think this shredder is gonna work for you. I did it to have fun. I did it because I had no idea why I was sent a paper shredder, bless their hearts, but I figured, well, I'll put it up because why not? It'll be fun. I didn't make any money, and I got a paper shredder out of the deal, which I gave away rather quickly, I forget to whom. So that'd be the deal. Oh, I said last thing, but this is the last thing. Influencer, when you get this stuff, give it to someone else if you're done using it. Don't just let it, clutter your house. I'm not giving anybody my Skinny Bar shampoo here. Skinny and Company shampoo bar. Not a chance, you can't have it. And I bought this myself, so you can't have it. But yeah, give away the stuff that you get to other people. Give it away to the people who pay attention to your channel if you want. That's always a nice way to keep giving forward, right? Anyway, some thoughts on influencer marketing.